so starting the second half. Okay, so last thing we left off was the Kalikak family. Okay, so Martin Kalikak was a young soldier in the Revolutionary War. His ancestry was excellent, but one wild night in the Hudson River, Martin forgot his noble blood. In this night of dissipation, he met a physically attractive, feeble-minded girl. Okay, so when he's saying when Martin forgot his own noble blood, he forgot where he came from. He forgot what he had stood for, because he came from an ancestry of excellence. And the result of that meeting was a feeble-minded boy. Wow. Because he left it. Huh. Wow. Can I share a story with you guys? Last year there was this girl that I really, really liked. I had gone to high school with her. She was a freshman when I was a senior, and I really liked her, but I was already 18, and she was barely 14 at the time. And I kept my distance because I respected that. And I ended up meeting somebody else, and things, we hit it off. And yeah, so this girl, I ended up running into her. Actually, I would run into her in the most random places, even when I was with my last girlfriend. And over time, she just became really, really, really pretty. Really attractive. And I tried talking to her for the longest time. I wanted to make her my girlfriend. I wanted to do all this and that, I look at it now, it's just like, man, dude, what are you doing? And I just think about it now, like, did I just do that because of you guys know the story with my last relationship. It didn't exactly end the greatest. And yeah, I've been single for the last 2 years. So it hurt. It really, really, it wasn't a good thing. It wasn't a good feeling. And we were actually in the same college, okay, in the same class, taking the same courses, which was for fitness. And 2 weeks after I turned 21, we ended up separating, like splitting. I'm still seeing her every day. About 4 months goes by, we're still in the same class, we still see each other every day. We tried, talking, with, every so often, but it just didn't really get back to normal. And she ended up getting with someone else in that same class, a 32-year-old ex-Marine. No, yeah, she was 19. So, of course, it hurt. It hurt. A 21-year-old was with this girl for 2 years, and then all of a sudden she's with this 32-year-old who just bought a car and lives by himself, well, lived by himself at the time. And you also hear that girls do that to get over a guy, to get over somebody. So I know for a fact that, if that's true, that she just wanted to move on. Anyway, why? Aside from all that, that's what happened. But this other girl, like I started seeing her around. Like I would still run into her in the most random places, even when I was still going to school with my last girlfriend. And I look at it now, and it's just like, was I only trying so hard because of a memory I had of that girl? Yeah, I had a crush on her before, but we're different now. And plus, it's just like, I don't know, now she's only 19 and I'm 22. I'm about to be 23. There's still that three years of life experience. And I'm not saying that your time spent on earth determines how much you grow in mind. But when you're actually there talking with somebody, you can really kind of see like where they are. And I put a lot of thought into it now that he's saying he forgot his nobleness. He forgot where he came from. He forgot his own excellence because he's seen this most beautiful, physically attracted girl, but she wasn't exactly fit for him, just who he was. And then the result of that meeting was a feeble-minded boy. The fact that he just wasn't as excellent as he was. And I think about that now, like, wow, if I actually kept pursuing that, who would I be today? I've learned that a man needs to have the right woman beside him. He needs to have the right girl beside him, because it takes the right girl to bring out the right one of you, the right you. Okay, it's because if you don't, you won't be able to grow to your full potential. Because you need to be able to click. Let's continue. And this boy grew up and married a woman of whose mentality Dr. Goddard could secure no record, meaning she seemed to be that feeble in her mind. But she was evidently of the same ilk. They produced numerous progeny with a large percentage of feeble-mindedness. These grew up lazy, thriftless, shiftless, trifling, thieving people. They're kids. Marrying into their own kind, another generation of the same general character came upon the human scene. This has gone now for 6 generations. And that's how he was talking about how that whole family tree starts. That's amazing. This guy, he came from an ancestry of excellence, but the fact that he forgot his own excellence, and he ended up getting with somebody who I don't want to say wasn't right for him, but yeah, wasn't a fit for him. In a way, he settled, okay? And because of the fact that he settled and he lived and had a family with this woman, he himself became feeble himself. And they in turn had kids, and they were all feeble themselves. And they grew up thieving, they grew up trifling, shiftless, thriftless, and they grew up lazy. And this went on for 6 generations. You can change your whole family future just by really, really choosing the right person to be with. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. It's not easy being alone. Trust me, it's not easy being alone. But I guarantee you, it's a lot better to be alone and to be with somebody who either makes you feel alone or to be with somebody who's not meant for you. They will come. It's worth the wait. However, on the other side of the canvas, Blood has painted a different and wonderful story. Later in his life, Martin married a young Quaker woman of splendid talents and heroic ancestry. Excuse me. Sorry, I felt the hiccups coming on me, so I had to, send them away for a second. Okay, moving on back to where we were. Okay, so this guy Martin, later in his life, he ended up marrying another woman. Okay, he married a young Quaker woman of splendid talents and heroic ancestry. It seemed that this line of children simply could not turn out badly in any environment. Indeed, like all blood, good or bad, it's made of its own environment. This line has given us 496 descendants. All have been normal people. As Dr. Goddard says, they have given us descendants of the highest respectability and social usefulness, including among their members, quotes, doctors, lawyers, judges, educators, landholders, traders, and men and women. And men and women prominent in every phase of social life, end quote. The last one on the chart is now a man of wealth and influence. Nobody has nobody ever had to build asylums, penitentiaries, reformatories, or special schools for this line of blood. The other line has cost society hundreds of thousands of dollars to restrain their evil tendencies and care for their feeble minds and bodies. Which, in a way, you could kind of see that that's what's happening now. You know, especially with the cost of medications nowadays, and medications themselves they're bad for you. You know, it's medicine. It's not organic. It's not natural. It's synthetic. Okay, it's something that was built in a laboratory. You know, real medicine is food. Okay, going out and buying some lettuce or a cabbage, you know, and mixing it with some brown rice and chicken, you know, healthy chicken. That's medicine. The other line has cost society hundreds of thousands of dollars to restrain their evil tendencies and care for their feeble minds and bodies. One line has torn down, the other has built up. One line has reaped, the other has scattered. One has contributed nothing but wickedness and woe, while the other has blessed the earth with beauty and achievement. Thus we find the difference in individual lives to be largely measured by the degree of intelligence which they manifest. It is a greater intelligence that placed the animal in a higher scale of being than the plant. And how are we going to be able to bring and manifest our highest intelligence? Okay, meditating, pushing your thoughts into higher planes of thinking. You know, that's one way we could increase our intelligence. Another way, taking care of your health and wellness. Okay, when you go to the gym and you exercise and you work out and you get your blood flowing and then your body's sweating, okay, you start thinking clearer. You know, you think on a more of a crystal clear plane. Not only that, you just feel that much better. Remember, we attract what we feel. It is a greater intelligence that placed the animal in a higher scale of being than the plant, the man higher than the scale than the animal, and we find this increased intelligence is again indicated by the power of the individual to control modes of action and thus to consciously adjust himself to his environment, to adapt. It is this adjustment that occupies the attention of the greatest minds, and this adjustment consists in the recognition of an existing order in the universal mind. For it is well known that this mind will obey us precisely in proportion as we first obey it. Remember, you must first do your part. The universe will take care of its part after. Okay? As we increase in experience and development, there is a corresponding increase in the exercise of the intellect, in the range of power of feeling, in the ability to choose, in the power to will, in all executive action, in all self-consciousness. The success of the hour may belong to the strongest fighter, but the future belongs to those who knows best how to adapt himself to the most precarious conditions in life. The gigantic animal that lived at remote geological periods have vanished, but many of their weaker contemporaries still exist. That is so very true. Choose what improvement you wish in a flower, a fruit, or a tree, and by crossing, selection, cultivation, and persistence, it can be fixed irrevocably. Let's look that one up. Irrevocably. Irrevocably. Okay. Hold on. IRRE. Okay, there's two R's. IRRE. Oh man, where is it? Irrevocably. REVOC. Wait, what? VOCABLE. There we go. I don't know what happened there. Okay, irrevocably. not to be revoked or recalled, unable to be repealed or annulled, unalterable. Unable not to be revoked or recalled, okay, keeping away from. And persistence, it can be fixed irrevocably. Does that sound right? Hold on. Choose what improvement you wish in a flower, a fruit, or a tree, and by crossing, selection, cultivation, and persistence, it can be fixed irrevocably. Choose what improvement you wish in a flower, okay, if you want to see a flower be better. And by crossing, selection, and cultivation, and persistence, it can be fixed. I'm not too sure if I really understand exactly what he's saying there, but he's saying, okay, let's take a plant, okay, let's take a sunflower, and we want to add something to that sunflower, okay, maybe a third leaf, a sunflower that has 2 leaves, okay, and you want to add a third leaf to that sunflower, okay, he says, choose the improvement, okay, choose by choosing that, to add the leaf to the sunflower, and by crossing, selection, and cultivation, and persistence, it can be fixed irrevocably. What does he mean? It gets fixed on the flower? The gigantic animals that lived at remote geological periods have vanished, but many of their weaker contemporaries still exist. Choose what improvement you wish in a flower, a fruit, or a tree, and by crossing, selection, cultivation, and persistence, it can be fixed irrevocably. Yeah, it's not subject to change. Choose any trait of character, be it honest, fairness, purity, industry, or thrift, by giving all that is implied in helpful environmental influence, you can cultivate it and fix it there for life. So if you want to be an honest character, by giving all that is implied in helpful environmental influence, by being honest in every part of your being, you can cultivate it and fix it there for life. Remember, because you're building that within yourself. Remember how we talked about every thought we think, or our brain cells are being set into activity, and they're changing and grouping themselves in accordance with whatever it is of the nature of your thinking. So if you're thinking honesty and you act honest in all your acts, whether it be environmental, in the health, or with, being with other people, okay, you cultivate that and fix it there for life. It becomes a part of who you are. And it's very interesting, like that whole process, and it's like everything with these books, I really don't know how many people are really going to end up watching all of this stuff. I really have no idea, but just the fact that I'm doing this and talking about this amongst myself, I'm changing my life. Just day to day, I'm changing who I am as a person, and that ultimately is going to affect my life personally, my personal life, because the infinite intelligence reflects exactly what we are thinking into it. Okay, remember that. Okay, whatever it is that you're thinking, okay, your personal state of consciousness, life is reflecting that back towards you. Okay, and I'm sure the reason you found this video and you're actually still listening and watching to this, because you intuitively know that it is true, because you know that there's something in here for you to get out of that's going to help you take charge and go, whatever it is that you want in life. Remember what our greatest teacher said, okay? First, find that kingdom, okay? The kingdom of heaven is within us, okay? What are we learning about this kingdom, okay? We're able to think, okay? And whatever we think, okay, we're casting that out into the universal mind, and we're bringing that back towards us, and it becomes a reality in our life. People who are not as big in their mind, okay? Their world in general is only limited to the boundaries of your mind. Remember, if you're not aware of it being there, all power is on consciousness. Okay, you have to be aware of its existence. Okay, if you're not aware of it, it's simply going to pass through you. It's going to pass by you. You're not going to see it. It's almost going to be like it doesn't even exist. Remember, if you want to change your life, you have to start by changing your consciousness. Okay, going within yourself and changing you. Remember, you must be something before you can have something. The person you were yesterday is not going to be able to do the things that the person you need to be today is going to be able to do. You know, when you come across new opportunities and new things and things like that, you're going to have to change in order to meet with that acquirement, okay? And if you find that it's not you, then go do something else. You have that choice. You have that choice. Heredity will of course make itself felt, and as in the plant under improvement, there will be certain strong tendencies to reversion, but persistence will win. Like yesterday, when I was making recording the chapter for magnetism, I didn't really feel I was doing very good, you know, and I was actually in a very, very awkward state of mind because I haven't smoked. You know, it hasn't been too long. You know, it's been like 40 hours since I last smoked. But even that 40 hours, it really makes a big difference. Remember that quote, okay? 1 ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's amazing. Like, every time I don't do it, like, I could feel my vibrations rising back up again. You know, and it's just, sometimes it just, like I was saying before, sometimes it's just like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I still doing this? Because you're coming more into yourself. You know, it's lowering my energies. It's blocking my vibrations. I'm not able to think as clearly as I was before. My thoughts aren't as high as they were before. You know, and this in turn is affecting who I am as a person. Because remember, we become what we think about. And when we continuously do that habit, we're not only melding into our character, but we're thinking along those lines. And those thoughts, everything, all that is going to manifest within who you are. That's why it's only until you actually form your perfect unity with the universal mind, you know, the all-mind, God. And I was even talking because, you know, science and religion, they're both on the same page. They just explain it differently. Just one thing, science looks a lot into, you know, the outer world, while religion looks a lot to the inner world. But mind and spirit, like I was talking about it the other day, like they give you, you know, it seems like depending whether it's, you know, from a religious standpoint or from a scientific standpoint, because remember how Charles was saying, over time you have to change how you're explaining things, because people change, times change. You know, we have to find different ways of explaining things. And this goes back to mind and spirit. You know, what exactly is truly the difference between the two? You know, because you have one half saying that they're separate, but then you have the other half saying that they're the same. Then you have, you know, metaphysics uses mind as spirit, and then the Bible, I really can't say I haven't read fully the Bible myself. Don't ask me why not. I have 7 Bibles. I literally went through an entire week getting 3 Bibles. It's amazing. When I was working solar, I had met some people. They gave me their Bible. Okay, we were talking about God and Scripture and things of whatnot, because I was, you know, reading all these self-development books, and they take a lot of the things from Scripture and talk about it. A lot of the people that I had met told me, like, why don't I just go to that source? You know, why not, instead of going through all these others, why not me myself go directly to that source where all of these people are getting this information from? You know, that did mean a lot. And now that I'm actually talking about it now and bringing it back, it kind of makes me think a little bit about it. And I have many Bibles. I have a lot of them. Okay, let's go ahead and where were we? If you are highly ambitious and are devouring biographies at this great genius or that powerful captain of industry or cues to success, it will be well to take an inventory to the endowments given the great genius during the formative period of his life. Cosmic intelligence continues to experiment and develop other coordinated systems into higher and higher complex organizations. Evolution. Experiment because cosmic intelligence, remember, the center of intelligence is through the electron. The electron is the center of intelligence, which the cosmic being manifests through. Excuse me, sorry. Remember, we learned the electron is what everything is made out of. The electron exists as both a wave and a particle. An electron can exist. It exists in everything, as everything. Okay, in a way, it's consciousness. It's God. And this consciousness. It's always looking to develop higher and higher complex organizations, a greater body, evolution. You know, like we were saying before. What was I saying before? With evolution. Anyway, let's continue. Experiment after experiment is tried and different species organizations developed, each one trying to keep the spark of life burning within itself to its highest degree by continually adjusting itself to the changed conditions of its environment. By adapting to its environment. The protoplasm or cell perceives its environment, initiates motion, and chooses its food. These are evidences of mind. As an organism develops and becomes more complex, the cells begin to specialize, some doing one thing and some another, but all of them showing intelligence. By association, their mind powers increase. Whereas in the beginning, each function of life and each action is the result of conscious thought, the habitual action becomes automatic or subconscious in order that the self-conscious mind may attend to other things. The new actions will, however, in their turn become habitual, then automatic, then subconscious, in order that the mind again may be freed from this detail and advance to still other activities. That's how we grow. That's how we evolve. That's how we ourselves are able to change whoever we are in a day, by choosing what direction we want to go down now. Because as we start thinking that way, we start being set into that motion. Okay, and the more we start doing that, it starts to become a habit. Okay, it becomes easier. It's like an automatic thing that you do now. You no longer have to think about how to do it. You just go out there and then get it done. Once it gets to that point, you know that it's become a subconscious. Okay, and once it becomes subconscious, okay, then you move on to something else. Okay, what else could I learn? What else can I improve upon? Okay, what else do I need to be a little bit different at? Okay, remember, adjusting yourself to your environment. Okay, and then from there, thinking new thoughts and new ways of doing things, seeing how you can improve, and then once they become habitual and then subconscious, you're just getting better and better every single day. Okay, and it's just something habitual, something you're doing continuously. Okay, and it's amazing because as you keep getting better at this, you can still just go around observing other things, without really even think about what you're doing anymore. Experiment after experiment is tried and different species organizations developed. Okay, I already wrote that one. I read this one. Okay, by associating with their mind powers increase. Okay, whereas in the beginning each function of life, okay, I just read this part. Man, going back to the very top of the page. Okay, so let me finish this last sentence. Okay, so he says, then subconscious, in order that the mind again may be free from this detail and advance to still other activities. Human love has as many elements and shades as there are phases of human consciousness and interest. It includes emotional enthusiasm, tenderness, and devotion, aesthetic attractiveness, appreciation and satisfaction, intellectual stimulation, approval and respect, social acquaintance, companionship and camaraderie, and the happiness which is the result of self-denying consideration and sacrificing service. This means that self-consciousness is increasing, expanding, growing, developing, and enlarging. It increases and develops because it is a spiritual activity. We multiply our possession of spiritual things in proportion to our use of them. Remember what Emerson says too. We must do the thing to have the power. We must use this knowledge that we are learning in order for it to really manifest itself in our lives. Remember, you have to apply this thing that you're learning. Don't be afraid to get out there and start thinking differently. Okay? Don't be afraid to change your state of vibration for the time being and be somebody totally new. Okay? And if somebody says something about it, don't worry about it. Okay? Focus on you. Okay? Remember your thinking. Okay? Remember the thoughts. Okay? Because while you're trying to push your thoughts to a higher plane of existence, well, this other person isn't quite aware of it yet, and they're kind of trying to figure it out, what it is that's different about you, but yet you know what it is that's different about you, because you know, like, hey man, I'm just trying to make a bigger me. Okay, by thinking bigger than I was yesterday, by feeling bigger than I was yesterday, by acting bigger than I was yesterday. Okay, these are the things that's going to make it really appear in your life. Remember, you must be before you can have. All material things are consumed in the using. There is a diametrically opposite law governing the use of the spiritual and the material. The intellectuals are not necessarily the great benefactors of mankind, because as a rule their noble ideas have not the emotion to propel them to success. Remember, thoughts, ideas by themselves are dead. You know, thoughts by themselves are dead. They have to be connected with emotion. You have to have that emotional connection to it. You have to have that enthusiasm about it. You have to be alive with it, okay? Because if you don't, you're not going to act upon it, because you're not emotionalized with it. It has no effect on you. You undoubtedly know many who have been too dumb to recognize opposition, and so accomplish what their intellectuals said, quote, could not be done, end quote. Combine proper intelligent, well-born emotion with an idea, and it is like combining energy to mass. It goes forth with direction and force to bless the world with its goods. Deny the idea, however nobly conceived, this mysterious quality, it is likely to die at birth. So, Creator, okay, whatever thoughts you have right now, okay, what is it? What do you want to do? Okay, what is it that you want to do? Okay, see yourself doing that and feel yourself doing it. Imagine what it would feel like to be doing that. Imagine what it would feel like to be that person already. Remember, we become what we think about. We attract what we feel. We create what we imagine. That's by Buddha. Okay, those three is said by Buddha himself. And once we figure out where we want to go and connect with it emotionally, then we're going to move in that direction and start taking actions. You are made up of millions of minute living creatures, each possessing mind and intelligence. And we learned that these creatures, these millions of minute creatures, are the cells, okay, the cells being the basis of man. These are controlled by group minds, which would be the different organs of your body. You know, like the cells of your liver has a different function than the kidneys. Okay, they're group minds because they're a grouped cellular structure. And these group minds are controlled by the subconscious mind. Remember, the subconscious mind is the mind which makes your heart beat automatically. It is the mind which makes the blood flow through your veins automatically. It is the mind which, the digestive system works automatically. Remember how we learned about hunger and appetite in the science of being well. The difference between hunger and appetite. Okay, when you're hungry is when your body's asking for food. Okay, when your stomach is growling, that's how you know the subconscious mind is asking for more material, for more cell growth, proper cell growth. Okay, your subconscious is telling your conscious mind, hey, it's time to eat. Okay, Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then appetite, okay? Appetite is not when your body's asking for it. It's just something when you just eat out of habit, when you choose to eat. It is thought which makes the adjustment. This is the process of crossing the human with the germ of the divine. This is the infusion of a higher type. This is the final goal of human destiny. The end. That is the end of chapter 16 out of our lovely book, You, entitled Destiny. Remember, this book was written in 1927, about 89 years ago. And yeah, if you made it to the end of this video with me, thank you so much for watching. And remember how everything is vibrations. Everything is nothing but spiritual energy. And the fact that we're able to see things is simply the expression of this energy. Remember, we're able to see light because we have an eye to see the light. Okay, if we were blind, okay, the energy will still be there. Okay, that the light manifests as. Okay, that energy will still be there. Okay, or let's say somebody couldn't hear. Okay, you're only able to hear sounds because you have eardrums to hear those sounds with. Okay, but if we didn't have those eardrums, we would have no idea about sound at all. Okay, sound wouldn't exist at all. But yet that energy which creates the sound is still in existence. Okay, and that's very interesting, and that's part of the conscious mind. Okay, and a lot of things they say the conscious mind is the external world. It deals with the external things, for the 5 physical senses. And how we were talking about, if we didn't have these senses, we wouldn't really be aware of things that are really happening around us. And I take that back. You would still be aware because that energy would be there, but you wouldn't be like how do you say, consciously aware, I guess you could say. Like, how do you know what sound is? You would probably still be able to feel, the pressure of the vibrations, but you wouldn't hear it, Like, you hear that with deaf people. There are some people that are deaf. Even Mozart. It's either Mozart or Beethoven. But they were deaf. And they were one of the greatest musicians that ever lived. And all he said was, I just felt the vibrations. I couldn't really hear it. I couldn't see it, but I felt it. Remember that feeling, okay, the thing that's in here, okay, feelings doesn't, it doesn't exist in here. Remember, this is like the ego, where we have our images of what we think we are, or who we want to be. Well, who we really are is just something that is, our like us in our real state of being is just unconditioned. Remember the 2 phases of mind. One mind with 2 phases, the subconscious and then the conscious. This is the part of the mind which changes, the part that thinks, the part that makes decisions, the part that imagines, the part that sees things. This is the part that changes. The part in here, this is the part that never changes. This is the one that's unconditional. This is the one that only changes when this thing changes, okay, because it's reflecting back to it. Okay, when this part changes, then also the outer part changes, because this also reflects back to what's in here. Remember what we learned about the subconscious mind, the body being our subconscious mind. Okay, the subconscious mind being the median between our conscious mind, which gives us the ability to choose things, and the universal mind, which is nature's mind. Okay, like this rock. Me and this rock is just as much a part of this universal mind. Okay? And even if I wasn't aware of this rock will still be in existence within the universal mind, even if it's not in existence within my own consciousness. Remember, all possession is based on consciousness. Above all else, seek God, seek wisdom, seek knowledge, seek information. Because one thing I've learned, there's no better camaraderie than information. There's no better thing than information. Because it is information that changes people. Remember, it's either somebody gets changed by, an event or information. It's one or the other. All that being said, remember your powers, remember the planets, remember the horoscope, study, look at it within others. I really want to encourage you guys to actually take the initiative to do that. Next time you're with somebody, really focus on how they are. Try to pinpoint what horoscope that they're in. Try to really pinpoint their zodiac sign. Just try it out and talk to them a little bit about it. Oh, so you're a Gemini. You're a mutable sign. You love talking to people. You love socializing. So you love jumping from one thing to another. You like change. Geminis are like that. And then they'll tell you like, wow, yeah, I really do like that stuff. But as for me, I'm an Aquarius and I'm fixed. Like it's built within Aquarians to stick to certain things. I realize that to be true because I listen to the same music over and over. Yeah, as boring as that is to some people, okay, I listen to a lot of the same music. I'm continuously rereading the same books. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, test that out. Also, I want you to test out the power of your thoughts. Try thinking of something. Think about it with interest, and just watch how it comes to you in your life. And you will know intuitively, like, whoa. You will just know. With all that being said, you guys, we finally finished this book. I was looking at celestial vibrations, the video I recorded on it. That was already over 3 months ago. Just like, dang, it really took me that long to finish you. Yeah. So with all that being said, you guys, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember our daily affirmations that we are the lights of the world, you and me, and together we can make a difference. Remember, the light of who you are is your mind. You are the light of the world. This manifest world. You have the ability to change this world. And the only thing that can have the power to change the world, to change life, is life itself. And if light itself is light, then you yourself are light yourself. You are a creator. To thine own self be true. William Shakespeare. And there's one more quote I actually really like to read to you guys before we actually end this video. And it's a scripture. He talks about the Spirit of God. Okay, and how you are the light of the world. And I just want to, let me find it really quick. Yeah, no, I probably should have already had it. But he says, here it is, Proverbs 4:23. Okay, that's not it. But Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Remember, feeling, okay, feeling exists within the heart, okay, and when you think in your heart, when you think with your feelings, remember, we attract what we feel, because a thought by itself is dead, okay, you have to emotionalize those thoughts, you have to think with it, with your feelings, in order to really bring it about in your life. That wasn't the quote I wanted to read, but that was actually pretty good. Okay, here it is. Okay, this one's from 2 Corinthians 3:17. And he says, now the Lord is the Spirit. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And what have we learned about ourselves? We were created in the likeness and image of God in spirit. Okay? Remember what we learned through the science of being great. Okay, there is only one consciousness substance. Okay? You and I are this substance. Remember what we just learned in you. Okay, there's only one intelligence which manifests through all things, in all things, and expresses itself as all things. So with that being said, you guys, remember, you are the captain of your ship. You are the master of your own soul. Okay? You choose your destiny. We choose our destiny. Be patient with yourself. As you grow in life, you learn more about yourself. You know, we're gonna change. You know, we're gonna change. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. You know, it's part of the growing process. You know, don't be afraid to change. With that being said, you guys, I'll see you on the other side of the galaxy.